Hi, I'm Alister Atkin from Atkin Guitars. We are in London's glittering West End. This street, this is my colleague Paul Waller, who used to work in this street for 30 years.
On and off, yeah.
On and off, yeah. And I poached him from Dawson's earlier on in the year. This is the mecca of the music industry. Back in the day, everyone hung out here. There were publishing houses and recording studios along here, and there were loads of guitar shops. The faces of the place has changed somewhat now, and but we're going to walk down the street and show you what's left, and also a few stories of what used to be here. When I was at college in London, I used to spend loads of my time down here trying out guitars, seeing what was about, and you'd see some of the best examples of the American guitars down here. So and then occasionally you'd see a rock star. But actually the shop that Paul worked in was Hank's, and Noel Gallagher used to go in there a lot, didn't he?
Yes, he did, yeah.
And I got hold of Noel. He was walking towards me just down here, look, and I had a guitar on me, and I clocked Noel, and I thought, shit, I've got to ask him if he wants to try it. So I ducked into Hank's and said, look, do you want to try this guitar? And he goes, yeah, all right, man, I'll try that guitar. And he tried it. I said, what do you think? He goes, it's not my cup of tea. And that was the last I saw of Noel, but we've made him a guitar now, so yes. He has got an Atkin guitar. I think my first time I bought a guitar was from a PRS in a guitar shop just here on the left.
It would have been probably Rhodes Music.
Yeah, Rhodes Music, that's
which
right.
Which is a couple of doors down.
Yeah, and I bought this pearlescent PRS with the birds on it, whatever that one.
Probably a Custom 24, probably.
Custom 24, because I bought it because I'm a massive Alex Lifeson fan, and he was using PRS at that point. And it was the first time I realised that buying the guitar of your hero doesn't actually make you sound like your hero, which I remember feeling quite sort of pissed off about that. And so I gave up trying to do Alex Lifeson, and then got into Neil Young, which I found was a little bit more accessible for me. Lawrence Wright.
So this is one of the music publishers, which there were many of from sort of around after the war,
right?
Or during the war, I think, as well. So yeah, Lawrence Wright. There's a picture of from that way facing here of Andrew Loog Oldham,
right?
Stone's manager, there.
Right.
And you can see the Lawrence Wright number 19 on there. So yeah, that was a publisher's. This was Mills Music, which is a publisher. I think it was this building, and that's where Elton John worked as a T-boy.
Oh, there you go. Right, yeah.
And then Rose Music.
Of course, he was Reg Dwight then.
Reg Dwight at that point,
Reg Dwight, yeah. And I think I'm right in saying that he recorded his first demo of your song in one of these buildings.
Yeah, there's some link to that song on this street.
Yeah.
There's some sort of link to the song about Up on the Roof, but obviously Bernie Taupin wrote that, so I'm not sure quite if that tallies to being on a roof in the street, but yeah, certainly that was associated.
And I think they invented the name Elton John here.
I think the original road shop was that one.
Right, yeah.
Because it was quite small.
So 17-year-old me comes into this shop, the wall of PRSs, like, shit, what shall I have? And most people would choose probably like a flame maple top, but for some reason I chose a pearlescent one, which wasn't that cool really, but I think I owned it for a couple of years. Well, you were working here until about 4 months ago.
So yeah, this opened just over a year ago.
Yeah.
So Dawson's, they've reignited the brand. It's owned by the people that own NME magazine, and so this has been various shops over the years. It's been a PA shop, it's been a Wunjo shop, it's been a bass shop in the basement, drums as well. Quite a famous location. In fact, when this was being refurbished, we found some original badges, badges from the store. So that was quite interesting. Yeah,
so this is rough trade.
Yeah.
And
so this is where Hank's was, where I probably first met you.
Yes. So yeah, Hank's Guitars. This was primarily an acoustic guitar shop. So I used to come in here, and back then, no one would buy a guitar off me, so you'd end up just putting it in consignment.
I think we had 3 of you.
Yes,
and they were in the back room, which is no longer there now, but...
No, you'd made a special glass room that all the expensive stuff went in. Yeah. So it was Andy Manson's guitars in there, all the Martins, Loudon,
Filed.
Gibson were in there, and loads of Brooks as well.
Yes, Brook guitars.
So yeah, this was a really cool, intimate venue, and loads of people played here. And it had the weirdest setup at the back.
Yeah.
So it had a little tiny stage, but as close to the stage as you could get. If you were standing up, you'd have the second floor of
Which
the
was put in,
second floor. And so anyone who was playing there would be playing to people down there, but playing to people up there, but they could only really see the second floor in front of them.
Originally, Andy's guitar shop, which is there, had a little club called the Forge.
Yeah.
And on the stage was the Forge.
Oh,
from
okay.
1600 or whatever the date was.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And then they put the stage around that. And then it became the 12 Bar Club.
Okay.
Where Adele played and Jeff Buckley's played there.
Yeah. Yeah. Bert Jansch had a residency there a lot.
I saw David Graham in there once, restringing a guitar.
Really?
Yeah.
No, so I think probably you'll find most players or English artists went through this place at some point. Now, Hanks. Come this way, Sarah. Or should I say Lynn? Come on, Lynn. Now.
So this was Andy's guitar shop.
Yeah, so I used to sell lots of guitars in Andy's. But the thing about Andy's was, and I think the door used to be here, didn't it?
Yes, that's
and
right.
They changed it. But he was renowned for never paying you. So you'd sell a guitar, or you'd put a load of guitars in, and then I'd phone up and go, have you sold anything? He goes, no, not yet, no. Then I'd come up a week later and like 3 guitars were gone. I'd go, oh, you said you hadn't sold anything. Go, oh, we sold them yesterday. I said, brilliant, can you pay me? And it is, we only pay monthly. And then I'd spend every month, I'd call him up asking for the money. He goes, sorry, a bit short this month. And it took, I never lost any money, but it took years to get it. Yeah, it was terrible, really. And but yeah, now it's a Hanks, which is used to manage the Hanks down there.
Yeah, and then briefly when it moved to here from there, because what's happened is as the landlords have redeveloped it, they rather than kick everyone out, which would have been terrible, they've had to say, right, we'll move you here, and we'll do that building. So that it was a bit of sort of
jumbling around.
Yeah, exactly that.
And so down this street was the entrance to the 12 Bar.
If you through that little gap there, that's where the Forge is.
Right. Okay.
So the club was called the Forge before the 12 Bar. So that's where So the landlords, what they did was they dug up around the original building, because it's Grade 2 listed, and they, at great cost, relocated it further along there.
Okay.
Built this and then put it back in situ.
Oh, right, okay.
Within this new venue, so they've kept that.
Yeah. Back in the day, these would have been offices, and there'd be songwriters working in these. You know, this is like Tin Pan Alley.
Yeah.
So, in New York, you had the Brill Building, and that's where people like Neil Diamond and Carole King used to write. And in here, you'd get the equivalent of the English writers at the time in the 50s and the 60s.
If you buy any old sheet music of the Shadows, or usually the publisher's name on the bottom of it would be in Denmark Street or on Shaftesbury Avenue or Charing Cross.
Let's go in and see Hanks, which used to be Andy's. So let's check it out. Hey, how are you?
I'm all right.
Nice to see you. Thanks for letting us do this. Excellent. The cabinets up here, you'd always sort of look through them, wouldn't you, and just be like, oh my God, look at all this stuff. And it's all put away for good reason. But this one here, if you're getting on that one, Lynn, that is a guitar by Tony Zamatis, and he was in Maidstone in Kent, and he made guitars for everyone. Like Ronnie Wood commissioned him to make a lot,
and Greg Lake, George Harrison, Eric Clapton.
Yeah, so he was a really famous guitar maker in the 60s and 70s. I spoke to him once on the phone when I started, just because I thought I used to call up all these makers, and I said, can I come to your workshop? He goes, no, I'm actually building a plane at the moment, and no one can get in there. So yeah, he started with those and then ended up making planes. Let's go upstairs and have a quick look round.
There was like a lowered ceiling where guitar cases used to be kept.
Right, yeah.
And it was all pegboard.
Yeah.
Like the old-fashioned pegboard.
Yeah. Ovations. Did you ever own an ovation?
I had a double neck ovation.
Did you?
So I went in all guns blazing.
Yeah. Didn't get one with the mandolin on the bottom.
No, I didn't do the Richie Sambora one. I got the Jimmy Page twin neck.
No, that was my first, what I considered to be a decent acoustic guitar was an ovation. Take that as you will. Yeah.
But sold quite a few of those back in the day.
Yeah, I bet. Well, we all had them once.
Yeah. Tim Rice
was here. We were presenting a guitar to the Zombies.
Yeah.
And Tim Rice was doing the presentation, and Mike Reed,
he wrote a book about Denmark Street.
Yes. Yeah. So Mike Reed, and and then we did this little speech and videoed that. But there you go, little piece of history.
Yeah.
in a way. They do a lot of vintage stuff in here.
Yeah.
Alister.
Hello, Alister.
Nice to meet you, Sam. How you doing? All right.
Well, thank you.
Good. What are you blown away with on the wall at the moment?
We have a made-to-measure 3 pickup 59 set.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of a hybrid of the original Black Beauty and then the 355. Really, really cool. It just has this kind of mojo to it, you know. It's one of those ones that's just a really great bit of wood.
Yeah, it looks cool.
That Switchmaster's nice, the one below it. That's caught my eye, I like that.
It's got flats on as well,
Has
so
it?
it's it's ready to go.
The way it would have been.
Yeah. Although I always think that's the kind of guitar that you pull it out of the case and everyone goes, you better know how to play.
Yeah.
That's true.
I like it though because the Switch kind of feels like you're changing gear in an old sports car.
Right. Yeah, and you've got a Gallagher style.
So we commissioned those with our luthier.
Oh, right,
Really
okay. Who's that?
Refinishing. It's called TP Customs.
Oh, yeah.
We did it about 4 months before the boys announced their comeback.
Oh, right.
So it kind of looked like we had this special...
Yeah, scoop.
Yeah, but we didn't.
Bring like 2 or 3 guitars when you could park on the road really easily. Dump them all out, give them to Mick, and then come back a couple of months later. And one day Mick just disappeared. I think he just had enough. You know, he was working in a hole in the ground basically.
Yeah, it was
spraying like.
That sounds like damn much.
I think doing the Union Jack finally tipped him over the edge.
Yeah.
It's so hard to do. He could quit.
Yeah, I think that was part of it, and I think there were obviously no windows down there.
No.
It was spraying like really horrible stuff down there, and and then of course back then you could smoke as well, so it'd be like down there smoking fags while spraying guitars. And no, it was health and safety not gone mad yet. Right, okay.
It's looking good though.
Got any old Gibson acoustics here?
We have 67 J80.
Oh, the
Everly's.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Some super tones in it, but really nice.
Yeah.
The 20s and 30s respectively.
Yeah.
They're really cool.
So I used to come up to town and measure loads of the guitars that I would sort of like, I'd get my calipers out, and got loads of inspiration from the shops up here. So this church here is where The Omen was filmed. And do you remember in The Omen, it was Patrick Troughton, used to be a Doctor Who.
Yeah.
He was played a priest in The Omen. And up here, can you see that? The top of the spire? In the film, that falls off and it goes right through him and impales him down on the floor here. So, a little bit of film history. That's The Omen for you. A bit of classic English horror from the late 70s.
Was it?
Oh, Dennis
Dennis
Nilsson.
Nilsson.
Oh, right, okay. So that was where Dennis Nilsson, it was an infamous British serial killer.
Yeah, it was a job centre.
Yeah, it was a job centre and he works in there. That's creepy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he went down in the early 80s, so he's nowhere to be seen now. I think he's dead now as well, so we can all rest.
Killed him,
But so they had a job centre up here. Oh. It's now a swanky bar.
Yeah.
So Regent Sounds, how long has that been around? That's an old one, isn't it?
So as a studio, I think 1961, maybe early 60s.
Oh, really? Right.
So that's refurbished, but that's the bulk of that sign is original. I think it said photographic studio. I'm not sure. Crispin, the owner, would obviously wealth of knowledge of this place.
Yeah.
Great guy. He's owned the shop for I think about 12 years or so.
Oh, okay.
It was Helter Skelter Bookshop for a while.
Right. Yeah.
It was many things before that, after the studio closed. But yeah, it was famously a recording studio. The Rolling Stones recorded their first demos and first album.
Right.
Parts of the second album there.
Wow.
Hendrix recorded there. Tom Jones. The list is endless.
Okay.
My dad recorded in there.
Did he?
A demo, yeah.
Yeah.
Strange enough.
Excellent.
But unfortunately, they're not open today. But
I wonder why that is. Hopefully, maybe they've sold everything.
Yeah, they've had a good day. Shut early.
Yeah. Wunjo. Now, I can't remember how long Wunjo has been in the street. But
So I can't quite remember Wunjo's timing, but they started around the corner in St Giles, around the corner.
Right.
Then they had a store there, which we talked about, Mills Music. That was their main store.
Yeah.
Then they had a shop there, and then on the corner.
It's like,
And eventually they settled on here, at number 5. So they've been in this building, I don't know, 5 years or so, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
And that was Rocker's Guitar Shop, which before that was Roker's Guitar Shop.
I remember Roker's.
And before that, famously, it was Top Gear Music.
Yeah.
Where all the rock stars used to come in and, like, everyone.
Yeah.
I think even Peter Green's Les Paul got modded, maybe in there, or in a workshop round here, but it might have been there.
Right.
You know, his pickup went in the wrong way. But, and the NME magazine was in there in the 50s as well, because Melody Maker and NME were down the street.
Yeah.
So that's got a lot of history, that building.
Yeah.
And it's also got Stairway to Kevin workshop at the top.
Oh, Stairway to Kevin. Yeah. There we go.
And they've got Wunjo's guitar shop there. So.
Ah. Now, an old mate of mine owns this one, No Tom. We'll go and see if we can have a look in No Tom, where the Sex Pistols had a place out the back.
The Sex Pistols had a place out the back, and all the graffiti that was discovered in that room has been preserved behind Perspex.
Oh, really?
And it's now a room as part of the hotel, which is behind all this area.
Ah.
So, I mean, over the years I've been down here, you quite often see Glenn Matlock down the street.
Yeah.
I've seen Steve Jones come down to, obviously they've all been back to revisit what was there.
Try and find what they left.
Yes, the fiver behind
50
the
years ago, yeah. So, this is No Tom. And again, they deal mainly in vintage and second-hand instruments. I don't go buy anything new, do they?
They've got a few new bits, but the lion's share is vintage.
Yeah, so there's some nice old Martins. There's a D18 up there. Yeah, you got a J200 and a few nice bits. I've seen our stuff in here before now, actually, but I think they've sold it all. Goes very quickly. Is there any of ours? No, there isn't.
I think so.
No, but again, if you're in London, this is a shop with loads of vibe. It's kind of classic, and yeah, the just through there, the Sex Pistols used to rehearse, and so. Back in the squalid sort of 70s, that's where and this would have been a complete dive. Has come up a little bit in the world. Do you know what these things do? Some of them?
No, what's that?
No. I think you sort of link them up to your oven or something, and it changes the temperature on it. But I've got an air fryer up there.
Oh,
so,
yes, that's a single door.
Yeah. This shop here's got another one of these nice door knockers that doesn't do a door knock, but they're quite. I might get one of those for my house actually.
Yeah, then
they're good on a 50s semi, wouldn't it? So what was this then?
So this was a bar.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a famous picture of the Rolling Stones all standing outside of this building.
Right.
So obviously I think this is after they recorded down here.
Okay.
So and it was a pub for a while, and it's now a whiskey bar.
A whiskey bar. Okay.
Yeah.
So if if the walls could talk, I think we'd hear some stories.
That place certainly.
Yeah. Now Rose Morris. So this is how many locations? I remember Rose Morris being further down there.
Yeah, I think
on the corner.
One of the very early Rose Morris locations, when they were like an importer for Rickenbacker, was somewhere around here. It might have been St Giles. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But from the 90s, the very end store, before TK Maxx, which is a rolling store, that was a 6th floor Rose Morris music store.
I used to go in there and try out Hona Jacks. I don't know whether anybody
I think they were one of the first Taylor dealers.
Oh, right. Okay.
Not the first, but one of the first.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Hey, cool.
Yeah.
There you go, Rose Morris.
Yeah, that was World of Pianos as well, I think.
A whole world of pianos.
Yeah.
In a small shop. Quite impressive.
So that was the Gioconda Cafe.
Okay.
So all the musicians would hang out.
Yeah.
And then deliberately hang out to see if they could meet other musicians.
Right. That's where a lot of deals were done, probably. Or will you come on my tour or play on my record?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was where I used to come. So this was Rhodes Music was here. Rose Morris.
Rose Morris was here.
And 6 floors of fun.
Yeah.
But I could never afford anything in there, so I didn't buy anything. Selmer's Music was here. Jimmy Page. Well, there used to be a queue, apparently, down the road for cause they'd have done the Fender stuff, wouldn't they?
They were the Gibson importers for sure.
Yeah.
And I think Jimmy Page got his triple pickup Les Paul Black Beauty from here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So he's photographed with it in there. So and then it was Turnkey.
Yes, I remember Turnkey.
Yeah.
They sold a lot of electrical items, and then they became Guitar, or the guys from Turnkey started Guitar. So you can see how interlinked everyone is. Once you're in this industry, everyone sort of moves around, and we end up all knowing each other. This used to be Marquee's, which was a stalwart of the area, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the first British music retailers to really do it. Yeah.
It was so exciting. You'd look in these windows, and it was just like this wall of guitars. and now it's a lovely phone shop.
Yeah.
And that's the state of the music industry now. What's going on? But yeah, so on that corner there was Macari's, but just over here, was it Montague Pike?
Yes, yeah.
So that was the Marquee Club. Well, famously, everyone played there. Like Hendrix played there. Yes, Jethro Tull, Deep. Everyone played there. But I think it shut probably 20 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Did you ever go and watch anything in there?
I saw some bands there.
Yeah.
The original Wardour Street one, I obviously never went there.
Yeah.
I think they reopened it. Dave Stewart had a hand in.
Did he?
I don't know, but and that was reopened somewhere. But yeah, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. Oh well. Again, another brilliant place gone, but it is still in our memories. Yeah. Soho Square, which I used to come to when I was at college, but there's some really famous Q. I think it was Q magazine did an article about Jeff Buckley, and I think Jeff was standing right here. That building there is Paul McCartney's sort of headquarters. And I mean, he's had that for donkey's years, hasn't
he? Yeah.
But this is our West End dealer. This is an old friend of mine, Mac. He took this shop over from Ivor Morant's. He used to work there for years, and they shut down. And then he took it on just around COVID time, actually. We were all a bit frightened for him, but he's made a real success of it. So let's go in and see if we can spot some Atkins in the wild. So this is the Atkin wall downstairs in Mac's. What street's this called?
Rathbone Place.
Rathbone Place, and it's a stone's throw from where we were.
Yeah, Denmark Street. Centre Point.
Yeah,
Oxford Street.
So if you're in London, you can walk to all of these like within 5 minutes of each other. But this is our main sort of hub in London. And Mac, I've been dealing with Mac for years and years, so it's really fun to keep working with him. But he's got a nice collection of our guitars. He has got a 0037 12 fretter. So one of our J43s, big hitter, LG47. That's I know this, that's an L36.
Got a custom OM black top.
Yeah, black top OM. He's got another 0037 with a shade top. Oh, he's got a 19, and he's got an Essential D and a Hawaiian Master, which is the one that Justin Hawkins uses on Justin Hawkins Rides Again quite a lot. Justin Hawkins Rides Again. I think he calls it the avocado for some reason. Not sure why. Does that look like an avocado?
One that's gone off, maybe.
Yeah, possibly. So yeah, if you're in town, come down here, talk to Mac, and yeah, he deals with loads of our instruments. Oh, there's also a dust bowl.
This is the actual one that got 10 out of 10 in Guitarist magazine.
Yeah, we just had a review in the Guitarist magazine, and yeah, this is a 0012 fretter. So yeah, you can still get that. 10 out of 10, doesn't get any better than that. So yeah, and then in here we've also got some of the other kind of cool brands that I'd say that we're on sort of all the guitar shops that we go to. They'll all have these. So we've got some Bourgeois here. There's some. What else? We've got some Collings anywhere, or
he is a Collings dealer. He's got some Iris guitars.
Iris, yeah, Adams guitars, Iris. So yeah, they're pretty cool. They're mates of ours. We have a little group chat with Adam and Nully from Collings. Now, yeah, that's a McAnally. So Kieran McNally, he's from Belfast. He used to work for me. I taught him everything he knows. And when he arrived, he knew nothing about guitars, and I taught him everything.
All of it.
All of it, yeah. And he phones me up every week and thanks me for helping him so much. Hi. But he makes amazing guitars. Now this guy, Elysian. Do you know this guy? Was it Matt? I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name.
No, but he's a lovely guy. I think he's out in somewhere like...
Is it East London somewhere?
Yeah, or Blackheath or somewhere like that.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I know that Mac sold Graham Coxon one of those.
I bought one off Graham Coxon.
Did you?
As a part exchange in Hanks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, Coxon is brilliant at buying English makers' guitars. He's got 2 or 3 of ours. Yeah, there's some Santa Cruz. That's an American make. And there's a Collings. Is that Collings?
Yes.
Yeah, another Collings. So yeah, Mac's really got probably the best collection of acoustics, new acoustics in London. I would think. Do you reckon? Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, he's got a nice, consistent stock of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and loads of Eastman. We're really good mates with the distributor of Eastman in this country, Russ Scrooms. We used to play in a band with him, in fact. So yeah, Russ and me and Mac often go to guitar shows together. So yeah, nice load of Eastman. Oh, there's another Atkin there. Look, God, we're everywhere, aren't we?
Pre-owned one.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Another Collings, Gibbo. Anyway, nice collection of Huss and Dalton as well. So actually, there's most of the sort of small boutique pre-war-y type guitars are down here. But I think Mac's a big fan of those. Has that just come in from them, or is it used?
It's just second hand.
Ah, nice.
What of that is your guitars?
Yeah, well, they're learning, aren't they? Yeah. No, they're great, aren't they?
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah. So, you may well have heard of this place. This is the new Gibson Garage, which is a pretty mega shop. You've got all the guitars going round on a sort of... It's like a butcher's sort of rotation going round, and you can go into the shop and you can order any Gibson, and they've got all the wood in the shop, and you can choose the materials you want, and they'll get flown back to America, and they'll make your guitar. The presence that Gibson have, obviously, is huge, and it's quite a boon to have a shop like this in this part of London. And I think, again, if you watch Justin Hawkins, and I think The Darkness went down, Dan and Justin went down there, and they showed them all around, so that's a nice video to watch. But we kind of feel like we shouldn't go in the shop because they've got doormen, and I'm a bit scared. So anyway, brilliant guitar company, Gibson Garage, London. And I think they've got others in other places as well.
They've got one in Nashville.
Nashville as well. So there you go. Well, I hope you enjoyed our tour of Denmark Street. If you did, please like and subscribe and keep following the channel.